Today we're going to talk about Education Portal and navigating the site securely. When your students are online on the Education Portal site, interacting with their chapter and their lesson for their course, there are going to be a lot of different links on the page. This webinar should help you identify when a student is staying on task and interacting with the website appropriately, and when they're off task or navigating links that they shouldn't be using. This page is actually a link from the Nature of Business course, Chapter 1, Lesson 1, as a student would see it. So I'm going to walk you through the page and we're going to talk about the things that you might see if a student is off task or navigating outside of the course. This should help you monitor your students. Monitoring your students is incredibly important when they're online, but so is having a responsible or acceptable use policy for your students. Students should have an idea of what your expectations are and what the consequences are when they're off task or navigating outside of the appropriate areas. If you look at the top of the page, there are a bunch of options in this menu. None of these options should concern a student who's navigating a course. They shouldn't be using any of these things. All of them go out to other education portals pages, but shouldn't concern the student. If they're doing this, they're definitely off task. As you go down, you'll have over here on the right-hand side, share, feedback, and rate. I would definitely start off by explaining to my students that I don't want them to use any of these features and what the consequences are if they should. As you move down, this is where you get into the lesson. You'll have the lesson video, the quiz and exams, get help, and course information. Students can interact with any of these buttons. Watch this video. I would recommend that my students maybe take a look at the new chapters that are going to be coming up in this lesson, but not navigating to another chapter, as that would be an off-task activity. As I scroll down, I'll look and see here's the lesson transcript. And when I get to the bottom of the page, there are a couple more links that I might be concerned about. Here we have exploring the library of 8,500 lessons. This is an off-task activity that I wouldn't want my students to be engaged with. As well as down here, you have a couple of different social media or outside sites. A lot of these are going to be blocked in your filtering server. So you probably won't be able to get to Facebook even if you click the link, but I would know that a student doing this is doing something that I've asked them not to do, and I would explain what the consequences would be. So just because there's an icon doesn't necessarily mean that the student will be able to get to the site if it's blocked by your servers, but this still means that the student's not doing what I've asked them to do while they're on the website. We'll also provide you with a list of the different outside sites if you want to add them to a blacklist or sites that you block on your filtering server, such as Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube. As you look over here on the left, there are a couple of different options, and these here are Ed Portal sites. But some of them might lead to a form, such as contact support might allow a student to send a message to somebody. So again, I would ask my students that these are off-limit menu items and explain what the consequences would be if they should send something. None of these would necessarily lead to a student accessing outside email, but they might be able to send a question or a concern about the actual lesson to the support desk. Hopefully, you have a better understanding of navigating the site and where students should be at any given time if you were to take a quick glance at their computer while you're monitoring their access. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out. Thanks.